Hey, it's Scott Beebe with Business on Purpose. It is our time on a Friday afternoon to help liberate you from the chaos of working in your business. Hey, before we dive in, make sure to check out bopwebinar.com right there. Every one of our helpful service-giving webinars is always available at bopwebinar.com, and the next one we're going to talk about cash flow, so make sure that you are a part of that powerful webinar, and we always show you our work behind the scenes. A couple things. Thomas Jefferson famously said, "I cannot live without books." And although I was not a reader growing up, I share this insatiable passion to learn through the printed words of wise people from all over the world in all forms of history, because really, leaders really do become leaders. And so when we first started coaching many of our heroic business owner clients and asked them to read my book, Let Your Business Burn, Stop Putting Out Fires, Discover Purpose, and Build a Business That Matters, most would laughingly ask, does it have pictures? Well, today, most of those same heroic business owners now read regularly. In fact, they're hooked primarily because they know that the growth of their business, the growth of their teams, and more importantly, the growth of themselves and their families are dependent on learning. Every human body is structured around 11 primary organs. And likewise, every business on the planet consists of 4 primary systems: administration, operation, marketing, and sales. And now we add a 5th, we just call it general, and it's the area of business that also gives an overview of the business as a whole. But when drilled down, it's really 4 unique systems. And we ask each one of our heroic business owner clients to read through the following books that I'm about to walk you through as it relates to each system, not as an exhaustive training for how each system should work. That's what our coaching does through the Business on Purpose roadmap, but more as an insight into how to think through the processing and implementation of each system. So here are 5 books, I might even throw in a couple little bonuses for you, that we actively read and suggest to heroic business owners and entrepreneurs on a daily basis. Hey, just one quick note, we have no monetary affiliation with any of these books except my book, Let Your Business Burn. So just wanted to let you know that up front. If you click on any of the links in the article we'll post in the future, those are not affiliate links, just so you know. Okay? The first book, and this is the general must-read book. Remember those 5 elements: general, administration, operations, marketing, and sales. The general must-read book is the great book, and if you've not read this before, you need to go pick it up right now, and that's the book E-Myth Revisited: Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. It's written by Michael Gerber, and the absolute very first book we have business owners read is the sobering and all too close to home E-Myth Revisited. Gerber thoughtfully writes about Sarah, the pie shop owner, and gives you a grueling look into the long hours, the low profits of an everyday entrepreneur, and the myths that we buy into. And Gerber lays out 3 major roles of every single business owner: the manager, the technician, and the entrepreneur. And through the lens of Sarah's pie shop, we begin to feel an emotional connection to the entrepreneurial myth that we own as a business. And instead, realize that for many, the business owns us. See, we think we own the business, but the reality is that the business owns us. The value of E-Myth Revisited is not necessarily to walk you step by step through an action plan of resolving the entrepreneurial myth, but instead, it leaves you staring at your business thinking, Houston, we have a problem. It's an awareness book. So E-Myth Revisited is the ultimate diagnostic book for business owners and entrepreneurs, and it offers the sobriety and the awareness we need so that we can begin the hard work of pivoting to the true life of an entrepreneur, one where we own the business and the business ceases to own us. And so the primary purpose for writing Let Your Business Burn, the book I wrote, Stop Putting Out Fires, Discover Purpose, and Build a Business That Matters, was to actually lay out a step-by-step roadmap solving the entrepreneurial problem that Gerber so masterfully made us aware of. I remember reading this book, I think it was 2005, one of his original editions. And when I read it, I thought, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. But then I was trying to figure out as a technician, how do I create the system that business owners can follow? And that's why we wrote that book. So in the article we're posting, we'll have links to both E-Myth and also to Let Your Business Burn. All right, the second book that is really, really crucial that we have all business owners read is the must-read book, Profit First. All right, Profit First, transforming your business From a Cash-Eating Monster to a Money-Making Machine by the always funny Mike Michalowicz. Had a chance to interview him, texted back and forth with him a number of times. And man, what a neat individual. And when people drive by your business or they see your wrapped vehicle on the road or they come across your logos online, many have the same response when they see it. They're like, oh my gosh, man, you must be crushing it. Well, reality tells us that more often than not, the owner is not crushing it, but instead the owner's being crushed under the weight of the business that is less profitable, it's more in debt, it's consuming more time than the heroic business owner had originally dreamed of. And so the business owner is notoriously kind of winging it when it comes to their cash flow. And in Profit First, Transform Your Business from a Cash-Eating Monster to a Money-Making Machine, Mike Michalowicz brilliantly introduces us to an adage named Parkinson's Law. And British naval historian and author Cyril Northcote Parkinson explains that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. And then Parkinson wrote the kind of what's now known as Parkinson's Law as an explanation in a 1955 edition of The Economist, working to prove that bureaucracies unknowingly expand over time, even if there's not additional work. So the overhead expands, but the work doesn't expand. It just kind of happens. So Michalowicz takes this Parkinson's Law concept and thoughtfully overlays it on the idea and the problem of cash flow within businesses, and in particular with business owners and entrepreneurs. So essentially, if a business operates out of only one or two bank accounts, those accounts are kind of like Swiss cheese. The money tends to get spent going through the holes of that account without thought because the lump sum value is so high, it's so overinflated. You think, oh my, we've got $30,000 in that account. Well, not every dollar in your one or two account is yours. Some of it's for cost of goods sold. Some of it's for subcontractors. Some of it's for taxes. And more importantly, some must be for the business owner's compensation and for real cash profit. That's how we're able to be generous all around. So starting about 3 years ago, we began moving each one of our business owner clients to this model of subdividing the bank accounts. And not one has regretted it. Not one. In fact, because we track results, our clients have now collectively stashed millions away in their profit accounts, and even more importantly, have given away tons of cash over the last few years and have been able to be more generous because they've been able to hold on to some of those dollars. Here was a text I received just last week from one of our heroic business owners who generates less than $800,000 in total revenue, okay? Total revenue, less than $800,000 a year, sent me a text and said, hey, I made my profit deposit today, now over 6 figures. Crazy. I've never saved cash. By the way, this business owner, he's in his 50s. He said, I've never saved cash, and now it's over 6 figures, and he hasn't even done it for 2 full years. So I even sent Profit First to my banker, Molly Sandman, and now what I do is I just send our business owner clients to South Atlantic Bank in Bluffton, South Carolina, and they help our heroic business owners get their bank accounts set up. So read Profit First, and if you really want to have some fun with it, listen to Mike read it on audiobook. It's a really great read. He's very, very funny, and I think you'll really, really enjoy it. Okay, the third book is really interesting. It's out of left field. You're probably not expecting this, but it goes into the operational system of the business. And the book is called The Checklist Manifesto, How to Get Things Right by Atul Gawande. And who would have thought that one of my favorite books would be a treatise on the impact of a checklist? After highlighting a tragic plane crash in 1935 at Wright Airfield in Dayton, Ohio, Gawande goes on to reveal one of the most innovative tools of technology ever installed into aviation, and it's still used today. You know what it is? The pilot's checklist. Unbelievable. A simple 5-point checklist, in addition to that, was installed in 2001 at the prestigious and forward-thinking Johns Hopkins Hospital intensive care unit. And over the next 2 years, so I want you to think it's kind of a pilot's checklist for surgeons. Over the next 2 years, Gawande demonstrates how that one simple checklist massively decreased infections and ultimately deaths. So how can one simple piece of paper or a spreadsheet do so much to save lives around the world, not just in surgery centers, but on airplanes and in restaurants and all those sorts of things? Well, in Checklist Manifesto, How to Get Things Right, Harvard-trained surgeon Dr. Atul Gawande simplifies the complexity of preserving human life and reveals how simple checklist, when fully trained and implemented, can lead to predictable and life-transforming outcomes over and over again. Business owners are constantly frustrated with their days spent putting out the same old fires day after day and feeling like they're recreating the wheel every time they send that same email, answer that same question, deal with that same headache, and get frustrated by that same employee. So Gawande shares these harrowing stories about a not-so-harrowing tool, the checklist, and it will begin to change the way you and your team operate your business. So make sure to check out Atul Gawande's Checklist Manifesto. The fourth book I want to recommend to you is in the marketing system. So we've got general, admin, ops, now marketing, and it is a must-read book by Seth Godin. This is marketing. Seth Godin is a wisdom riddler. Rarely have I heard Seth respond to a question in the way that the recipient was hoping for. In fact, I personally sent Seth an email over a decade ago. His email was on his blog, so I just reached out with a question about where I was at in my work at the time, and his response was filled with wisdom and not at all what I was expecting. It was so helpful, and I still chew on his response today. This is Marketing, that book by Seth Godin, is not a step-by-step roadmap. I want you to hear me clear. It is not a step-by-step roadmap that you can just go install. Instead, it's a complete mindset shift around marketing. It's refreshing, not loud. It's thoughtful, kind, generous, and it's pointed. Listen, I hate marketing as I know it. I also sobered up reading Seth's book, This is Marketing, realizing that my perception of marketing has been set by the loud-speaking, interruption cowboys and cowgirls from the 1950s and 60s trying to sell me detergent, i.e. soap operas. This is Marketing will retrain business owners and their key leaders on the joy of marketing, the gift of marketing, and the responsibility of marketing. You will leave this book, This is Marketing, washed of the 10x your business overnight grime and feel the freshness of the wide open ocean of marketing opportunity that's sitting right in front of you. So make sure you pick up that book, read that book, share it with your team. This is Marketing by Seth Godin. It's one of my favorites, and it's an amazing treatise on that. The fifth book that I want to recommend to you, and this is in our sales system. All right, so we said general, admin, operations, marketing, and sales. This is our sales system book recommendation from Marcus Sheridan called They Ask, You Answer, a revolutionary approach to inbound sales, content marketing, in today's digital consumer. Notice it's the second edition. I want to make sure you get that second edition at the time of this recording. I could easily include Marcus Sheridan's They Ask You Answer in as a marketing must-read, but also feel like it does a really, really great job of connecting marketing to sales. If marketing is the responsibility of serving and educating a crowd of people, then what sales is the generous act of a long-term journey with individual members of that crowd in an all-out effort to see genuine life transformation through the implementation of your thoughtful product or service. So They Ask You Answer is wildly pragmatic, step-by-step playbook that is a great complement to Godin's This is Marketing. This is Marketing will give you the why behind marketing. They Ask You Answer will give you the how of marketing and then link it to the long-term implementation of that relationship. Business owners, yes, including Business on Purpose, have thrown thousands and thousands of hard-earned dollars down the toilet of outsourced marketing and sales, hoping to drink from the elusive cup of paid advertising, hoping to simply insert $1 and magically receive $2 in return. Marketing is not a hope, it's a system. Sales is not a hope, it's a system. Marcus Sheridan's They Ask You Answer is an overly generous playbook mapping out the marketing and sales system that harnesses the power of your most obvious commodity, product, and industry knowledge, and converts that commodity into rare and precious gift for the very people who you wish to serve. So this article is a direct result, and this video that I'm shooting is a direct result of They Ask You Answer. This article and this video would not exist without that book, They Ask You Answer. So as you read through They Ask You Answer, make sure to also check out riverpoolsandspas.com. That's riverpoolsandspas.com, so you can see how every step of They Ask You Answer is lived out in real time through a traditional local business. One other must-have resource for your sales team, so this is a little bonus thing that I want to add in here, is a resource. It's not a book, but it's a resource from David Nagel. It's called The Compassionate Conversion. There is no simpler framework to walk future customers and clients through to determine whether or not they're a fit for your offering or vice versa. The compassionate conversion lays out a series of questions to thoughtfully walk someone through as they're considering working with your business. It's a very kind, generous thing to do. It's the most natural and considerate framework, and it is really easy to train your entire team to be able to do that. So I want to make sure you check that out as well. Listen, books are wisdom forever caught on a page. Culturally, we are in real need of long-term, durable, substantive insight for our real-life problems and challenges. Books allow us the margin to think and the agility to adventure and explore new territories so that we can bring them back to our businesses and our teams and be liberated from business chaos. Hey, thanks for joining me. Make sure you go back and listen to this video, and we'll have an article up soon on our website, mybusinessonpurpose.com, but also make sure to check out BOP Webinar. You can sign up for our next really powerful, very helpful webinar that will be going over cash flow issues and how you can build up 3 to 6 months of cash, yes, even in a pandemic. Hey, thanks as always for joining us. It's our aim to help liberate you from the chaos of working in your business. I hope this video has helped you do that. I hope this podcast has helped you do that. Go check us out at mybusinessonpurpose.com.